They'll get all the screws out and just yank it out, not knowing that that sensor is there, and it'll just explode.
It's a very tedious process when these things decide not to work. This is the Mercedes-Benz special tool. It should come with your R129. It's the emergency opening wrench.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to DC Motorwerks, where today we're going to show you why people entrust the technicians like Andy and I to work on their special older Mercedes-Benz. So today in front of us we have something very special in our hearts for our very special 129 that is on our logo. This is one of the best of the best. This is a Silver Arrow edition. It is a 500 unfortunately and not a 600, but it is super special because this is a 5,000 mile example. So if cameraman kind of follows me around here, if you just look at the overall condition as well, you can see just how nice this car is. And so these Silver Arrows were only for the 2002 model year. They got some special trim, leather. You can see the gauge cluster specifically with the kind of like turned milled aluminum, as well as the Silver Arrow right there on the ashtray cover in the center console. It is a special paint as well with the 777 to commemorate sterling moss. So that is the paint code on this car. You get the silver trimmed windscreen, silver trimming on the soft top compartment cover. You get the special two-tone, it should be silver and black leather seats. Lots of little things to make the Silver Arrow special. This one came in for some kind of the normal thing on these. This is the soft top trebles. Even with 5,000 miles, they could not get the top to work properly. So we've spent the last few hours this morning working on it, and that's kind of what goes into working on these cars, is how time consuming, where the knowledge and experience really comes into play to make sure these work. So we'll start by showing you what exactly is going on, the symptom of how this top is not working properly. See, it starts to come all the way up. It will latch the front. You can see it stops right there and doesn't know where to go from here. And I'll kind of turn it over to Andy for a few minutes, show you what we've been doing all morning.
So today we function checked all of the limit switches. You just kind of ohm them, check, see if they're operating as they're designed, go through and manually move them, check, 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 check all the switches, and you'll eventually get to a switch that's not doing what it should. We found this actuator here switching as it should. Here's the switch over here, but its cousin on the other side was not changing in values. We'll come on over here. So after getting our hard to find socket box, pretty much is what it is, to communicate with our SDS, we got it going. Over here, got our HHT screen called up, and these are our actual values for our switch that did not want to change. So we're manually function checking the switches. As we move them, we should see a change in actual value. This switch over here never changed. So the top thought that it had one switch locked, one not locked. So the top would close, it would go to close the fabric bow cover, and it would stop halfway because it didn't think this process was completed. So now we've adjusted the sensor, and we're going to function check it and see if we've resolved the issue. All right, so we're ready to function check and see if we've resolved our issue. Wanted to show you this, I think it's special sensor. It's a magnetic sensor that if you try to mess with any of this, it's very known to plastic to break and just explode and fall out. And whenever the top closes, it senses the metal and reacts with the sensor here. So we're gonna install the whole thing, not mess with it so it won't break.
A lot of times what happens when people remove this piece of trim here, they'll get all the screws out and just yank it out, not knowing that that sensor is there, and it'll just explode. So when you're taking one of these apart, always be very mindful of that. And you do have to make sure it slots in to these tabs up here in the front, and it goes under seal here for the soft top or hard top. Little bit of a balancing act. Ready? Yep. Is that what we're fighting with?
There's about 6 things to line up at one time.
All right. Get those out of the way, and Good thing about the 129 is that the trunk is fully functional no matter where you put the soft top or hard top. So benefit of the design of this car.
It's a very tedious process when these things decide not to work. This is the Mercedes-Benz special tool. It should come with your R129. It's the emergency opening wrench.
I would say it is imperative if you're going to work on any older Mercedes soft top system, whether it's a 208 or a 129. So that would be the CLK or the SL class here. I mean, it really is just it's a 6mm Allen and a I think it's 10mm wrench on the other side, but honestly, nothing else works as good as the factory one. And they're pretty inexpensive on eBay and so forth if your car does not have one, because they tend to get lost.
Key on?
I like how you put it into boomer mode.
Yeah. It's good for the camera.
So we can see here, these are the switches we were messing with here. These are the call out or designation numbers from Mercedes, is S84-1, S84-2. That is left and right. You can see both match now, whereas before we had an inconsistency where one was showing open and one closed. But we probably have a fault code stored here, so we will go into there. You can see we have illogical limit switches. If we back out here, it'll ask us to erase the fault memory. We will hit yes. It will think for a second. And now with the cycle of a key, we are ready for a test cycle. See the sweet silver arrow trim in progress there. Just look how nice the hinges are and everything on this 5,000-mile car.
Oh yeah.
And look at that, it works perfect. See how nice even the original plastic windows are. They are a little dusty and could use a little bit of plastic polish, but no cracks. You can see even one way to know how old a soft top is on a 129 is the stitching. So as they age, the stitching will fade faster than the fabric top, and it'll turn almost white, which I may be able to show you on my 180,000-mile SL500 that's in other videos for comparison's sake. So this is the original soft top on my 1998 180-something thousand-mile SL600, and you can see just what I was talking about there, that the stitching fades more quickly. You can see my soft top's not as in nice of shape. Got a little bit of the stitching coming loose here, but back to the very nice 5,000-mile car. So I guess, why is it still red? Maybe because I'm in the module. Close it.
It never rolled the windows up either.
I think it still doesn't like the rear. Tuck that in there so it doesn't get caught. So down's happy. So now these latches aren't happy. They're not fully closing. Maybe a little HHS will just make them.
They're dry, all of them. There ain't a bit of grease on any of it.
So let's do that. We'll plug that in, button that up. So that is fixed. Because before it was just implausible. Now it's an open circuit, so it's not going to like it. So part of the difficulty on 129 specifically is that even with the Zentry scan tool, we actually have a 38-pin connector. So this is what you would normally use to plug into the diagnostic socket there. But for some reason, the software or whatever it is will not communicate with the soft top module through that connector. It's the only module that won't read, and that's why you specifically have to have what we affectionately call here the mushroom head. It's also known as a socket box in Mercedes speak. And what it allows you to do is plug into the 38-pin connector under there, and it gives you access more easily to plug into each individual module here. So what you have here is ground is pin 1. This is your circuit 15, which is key on, is the white. And then circuit 30 is red, which is constant power all the time. So that provides power to your multiplexer here. And then you use the K-line connector here as the communication line. And what you'll do is we have a pin-out diagram of the 38 pin, which I'll put a picture up here. And it tells you which module is which pin. So in this case, pin 21 is our soft top module. And just like pin 22 would be your roll bar module. So just a couple of the things. So all that knowledge is required to properly diagnose this vehicle, because like I said, it's not one of those situations where you can just, it's like they say, can't you just plug it in and see what's wrong with it? Not quite. So, and that's why it can be a little bit expensive to work on these, is it requires extra time to have all this equipment and have all this information in order to properly diagnose older Mercedes models. Even one more surprising thing is that a lot of dealers and now independents will not work on older Mercedes because they don't have the people to work on them and they don't want to deal with it. So we get a lot of referrals from local dealers because they just won't work on them. Most dealers around this area won't work on vehicles older than about 8 model years. So in 2024, that would put us about 2016 model year. They don't work on anything much older than that. Probably our average Mercedes age here would probably be somewhere around the 2000 model year or so. So we work on a lot of older vehicles here. So as we pointed out a moment ago, we always like details that prove the low mileage, I guess we'll call authenticity of the car. And on the 129s here, the plugs for the manual roof operation usually are missing. And these ones are in place and even they have these little strings that keep them from falling out completely when you've removed them. So they just kind of hang there like that one on the driver's side. So it is really exciting to work on something that is basically showroom new, off the floor. But there is the downside to that, like we've said before in many videos, is that you have to have an extra level of care, especially when you look at these sweet silver seats. If you have any bit of grease or anything on you at that time, and that's why we have protective plastic and so forth, is to prevent that from happening, because you can even see the sweet silver arrow embossed into the silver leather there. So that will conclude our repair on the 5,000 mile Silver Arrow SL500 that we had today. So again, super exciting to see such a nice example. And on a day, we have a bunch more 129s in the shop with our Japanese 500 SL. We have another SL500 there. My SL600, which is in a lot of pieces right now. But again, we can go back to the Silver Arrow here and just show you all the differences that are special to the Silver Arrow. Now, we mentioned earlier, this is the special 777 paint code, and said that paint code is in reference to Sterling Moss's race car. But you can also see with these side by side, the grille on Silver Arrows, instead of having the kind of bronze look on their normal cars, you do get silver there. Also coming along the side, you've got the 2-piece Silver Arrow wheels, as well as, of course, you get the obvious badge. And this is a later model than the 500 next to it, so it is just the 2-gill fender grills there, and you can see those have been trimmed in silver as well. Your trimming along the belt line here is also going to be specific Silver Arrow, as well as, like we talked about earlier, your soft top compartment cover, your windscreen as well. And hopefully the camera can pick up just how beautiful this interior is with the black and what was actually silver inserts on the seats, or at least as close as you can get with something like that without looking a little gaudy. Black and silver trim on the leather steering wheel, as well as on the gear shifter. It is a specific wood trim as well. The special instrument cluster and the bezel around the gear shifter there in the kind of like turned milled aluminum. I believe I also said earlier that it comes with a suitcase and a pin and a couple other little niceties as well. So lots of special stuff to make the Silver Arrow special, like I said, just for the 2002 or the final model year of the 129. But if you enjoyed this video, or you have an older Mercedes you'd like us to work on, be sure to drop us a line, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we look forward to seeing you on the next video.